Hello aspirants, welcome to Pragyān Veda IAS. As a part of the Prelims Synthesis initiative, we are going to cover the theme 1, the Constitution of India, the Preamble and important articles. So just to give the overview, we will be covering the important parts of the Constitution and important articles that appear, and we will take up some previous year questions and try to solve them to get the hold of the theory and application, right? So quickly getting into the Constitution of India, we have the Preamble of India, right? So we the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into sovereign, secular, socialist, democratic republic. And there are some keywords like justice, liberty, equality, fraternity of various sorts, like justice of social, economic and political, and liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, equality of status and opportunity, fraternity assuring dignity for all individuals. And in our Constitution Assembly, on this day, particular 26th day of November 1949, we are adopting this and giving ourselves the Constitution of India. So this was adopted on 26th of November 1949, but officially it was declared on 26th of Jan 1950, which we celebrate as Republic Day of India. Now coming to the some key aspects of preamble, we have socialist, secular and integrity, right, where it appears integrity. These three words, cis, you can remember, it was included during the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act in 1975 and 76 period of emergency by Indira Gandhi. So these three keywords were included, basically entailing the socialist concepts, right? And just before this, I'll just give a quick glance of the ideologies that exist in the world and how world over there is a tendency of various countries moving from autocracy to democracy. So there is left ideology and there is rightist ideology, and there is authoritarianism and there is liberalism, right? So authoritarianism, and the whole world is divided, all the ideologies that run the world in terms of polity and governance are based on ideology, right? So some famous ideologies like Gandhian principle, they come in this quadrant. And authoritarian and leftist ideologies, leftist means communists, communistic or socialistic ideologies, and right is capitalistic ideologies. Authoritarianism is as good as autocracy and liberalism is as good as democracy, right? So communist principles are here, Gandhian principles, they are all here. Then we have Mao, Stalin, all these authoritarian yet leftist ideologies falling in this quadrant. And we have Hitler and other people have their ideologies falling in this rightist and authoritarian ideologies. And there are some ideologies falling in the liberal and capitalistic ideologies. So like this, so all these countries across the world, there has been a trend moving towards authoritarianism to democracy, and there is the whole world is divided in terms of rightist and leftist ideologies. Just side information on that. Now quickly getting into the polity, there are various parts in Indian Constitution, right? The part 1 talks about defines the state, right? The union and territory, article 1 to 4. We have article 1, the name and the territory of states within the Indian context. The land is called as Bharat, right? And that is defined in the article 1. Article 2 is admission of new state, and article 3 is regarding the formation of new states or alteration of the boundaries. For example, the formation of Andhra, Telangana is attributed within this article of 3. And in future, if any other state would like to enter India, that is all to be considered within Article 2. So the provisions are there. Part 2 is regarding the citizenship, Article 5 to 11. So like Article 5 is citizenship at the time of commencement of Constitution of India, and Article 9 is regarding acquiring a foreign citizenship. Someone would like to leave Indian citizenship and acquire foreign citizenship, those provisions are there. Even some provisions of becoming citizen by naturalization process, they are all covered in this part, right? Under part 3 we have the fundamental rights, the Magna Carta of India, right? So Article 12 gives a definition of fundamental rights, also how judiciary doesn't come under state ambit, right? Judiciary is a very centralized system, so it is implicitly mentioned, it is not explicitly or very openly stated in that sense in Article 12. Article 13 gives it proves those laws to be null and void which are inconsistent with the fundamental rights, right? It is indirectly attributed to the judicial review concept of polity, right, of judiciary. So very important, sometimes indirect questions are asked that Article 13 relates to judicial review, right, like that you can remember. Article 14 is regarding the equality before law, so it also entails the rule of law against the rule by law principle, right? Article 15 is prohibition of discrimination based on caste, creed, color, etc., gender, religion, right? Article 16 is on equality of opportunity in public employment. It has both positive and negative connotation, positive discrimination and negative discrimination. Some sections like SCs, STs are given discrimination to give opportunities for in public employment, right? So Article 17 is abolition of untouchability, right? The historical injustice that prevails, and it has been abolished under Article 17. Article 18 is abolition of any kind of titles. Again, the British era, we had many titles given to zamindars and other favorable people to British, so they are all abolished under this title. But there are some gallantry awards that are given to Indian citizens with exceptional performance in public life, like the Bharat Ratna, Padma Shri, Padma Vibhushan. They are not covered under this Article 18, right? And Article 19 is the freedom of speech, right? So there are many subclauses under this, A, B, C, like that it goes. So there is a freedom of speech, but there are also reasonable restrictions on the same covered under this. And Article 19C covers formation of groups, and cooperatives. Article 20 gives the protection against conviction in cases. Article 21 is right to life and liberty, very important. Various questions are framed across Article 21, both on just concept base or application of the same in terms of political philosophy. So various and Article 21 is a very broad article. There are many interpretation of Article 21, just like I have given on the right side. Especially it was reinforced in the Menaka judgment that the Article 21 has various interpretation with respect to right to human dignity, right to privacy, right to shelter, health, like that, right to speedy trial, right against handcuffing, right to travel abroad, right against custodial harassment, right to fair trial. So like that, there are many interpretations of the same which come within the ambit of Article 21, right to information, right? So various cases like Puttaswamy judgment and all this are coming are having their basis in Article 21. And Article 21A is right to education, right? 86th Constitutional Amendment Act inserted Article 21A. Article 22 is for protection against arrest and detention in cases. Detention. So there are two articles, Article 20 and Article 22. Article 20 is against conviction in cases, protection for the concerned person, and Article 22 is for protection against detention. So when a person is already convicted, proved guilty, article 20 comes in rescue, and article 22 is for someone who is put under arrest and detained in accusation, right? Now quickly moving forward, we have article 23 giving the prohibition of human trafficking and forced labor. Yes, so conscription is not limited under this article. Conscription means the government can request or can employ the citizens to render public service, basically in military, in terms of national, it's like a call of duty, right? There it is not limited under article 23. Article 24, prohibition of child labor. Child means below 14-year age. Article 25 is for freedom of practicing and propagating one's religion, freedom of practicing religion and conscience, right? Article 26 is for freedom to manage religious affairs. Article 27 is for freedom from payment of any kind of taxes in promoting any religion. So one is free. Basically, they are very secular concepts, not that the state doesn't have any religion as such, right? Article 28, but it fosters and makes all religions thrive for public good, right? Article 28 is for freedom from attendance in any religious instruction, that one cannot force one to attend any religious ceremony, etc. Article 29 is for protection of interest of minorities, right? And article 30 is for establishing any cultural institution and running them. Those provisions are covered in article 29 and 30. And article 32 is like a guardian of fundamental rights, the right to constitutional remedies, to enforce the fundamental rights. The 5 writs that come, habeas corpus, certiorari, quo warranto, all this writs are entailed within article 32 to safeguard the fundamental rights of the citizens. So basically we have 6 fundamental rights as discussed. The first one is right. The first here is right to equality, and here we have right to life and liberty, right? Then we have here right against exploitation. We have right against exploitation, right? We have here right against any kind of exploitation. Then we have here right to freedom of religion, right? Then here we have for minority right to cultural preservation, right, for minorities. And at the end we have right to constitutional remedies. So these are 6 fundamental rights we have covered. Very important, we need to remember all of them. Various questions can be framed on a concept base or just article based questions, or even application of the same. And part 4 we have the DPSP, directive principle of state policy. These are mostly socialistic and Gandhian principles to guide the state to render public services. Various principles are given within this DPSP under part 4. Article 36 gives the definition of DPSP. Article 37 is application of the DPSP. Article 38 is welfare of the people, the welfare state concept is entailed here in article 38. Article 39 gives the certain policies to be followed by state, that the state acts as trustee of the constitution and it is supposed to render public service accordingly, and various principles are entailed within article 39. So article 39 is very important. Various principles are outlaid here. Article 39A is providing equal justice and free legal aid to vulnerable sections, right? That justice is not denied to anybody. Article 40 is organization of village panchayat, very important. Article 41 is right to work and to education and to public assistance in certain cases. So the famous Manrega scheme which is there, it has its basis in article 41, right? Minimum of 100 days of job, correct? Right to work. Then we have article 42 which gives provisions for maternity relief and human condition of work at the workplace. So at least to 26 weeks of maternity leave, they are all covered under article. They have their basis in article 42. Article 43 is living wages for the workers and at minimum wages, right? And article 43A is participation of workers in the management of industries, right? So they're mostly socialistic or communist concepts. Then article 43B is cooperative societies, forming cooperative societies and management and control, important. Article 44, the UCC, the Uniform Civil Code, very famous, running in news also. We may expect questions on this also, and it is already existing in Goa, and I think Uttarakhand has already passed in their state assembly the UCC, but on a national level it is maybe there is a chance that there is a lot of debates and discussions happening on UCC. Article 45, provisions for free and compulsory education for children, covered article 45 also. Article 46, promotion of educational and economic interest of various vulnerable sections like SCs, STs and OBCs, important. Article 46, right? So we have article 15(4) and article 46 and in article 16 also, here also for SC STs, here also protection for SC STs, article 46 here for SC STs. Article 47, we have duty of the state to raise the level of nutrition, right? It is the duty of the state only, it is very clearly mentioned. And sometimes some intoxication related narcotics and other issues that come, they are all entailed in the article 47. Article 48 is organization of agriculture and animal husbandry. Even the so-called cow protection and all these talks that go on, they have their basis here in article 48. Article 49 is protection of monuments and places and objects of natural importance. So basically the architectural heritage that we inherit historically is all there within article 49. And article 50 is separation of judiciary from executive. So this question was asked in UPSC a couple of years back, that basically we have separation of powers, right? The legislature, judiciary and executive. So here the separation of judiciary from executive, this thing is specifically mentioned in 50 article. Article 51 is promotion of international peace and security. So various questions can also be formed within DPSP, very important. We can remember mostly all of them. We don't know how questions will be framed, but it is always good to remember and at least be aware of that these concepts are entailed within DPSP, right? Then quickly getting into part 4A, the fundamental duty, right? So we have I said 6 fundamental rights and 11 fundamental duties, right? So there are 11 of them. Quickly going through them and try to remember that to abide by the constitution and respect all the ideals and institutions, and in the meantime national flag and national anthem, they are to be respected and sufficient respect has to be given. To cherish and follow the noble ideals that inspired our national struggle, right? To uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity and integrity of the country. To defend the country and render national services when called upon. This is also there, right? Which one we discussed just now? Something similar we discussed in article, if you remember, article 23. Conscription is not limited here. Same thing, one more in our constitution regarding conscription. To promote harmony and spirit of common brotherhoodness among all the citizens, right? To value, preserve the rich heritage of our composite culture. Then protect the protect and improve the natural environment that exists in terms of forests, lakes, rivers, like wildlife, etc. To develop scientific temper, humanism and spirit of inquiry and logical thinking, right? To safeguard public property, we cannot squander or demolish any public property, it's our fundamental duty. To strive towards excellence in all spheres of individual and collective efforts, right? Then as a parent and guardian, we need to provide opportunities for education to one's children, right? It is very special duty that exists, important. Article 21A, 86 Constitutional Amendment Act, then even Fundamental Duty 11, they all are educating children, especially a child who is below 14 years of age, right? Important. Part 5 is the union. Various wings within the union: legislative, judiciary, and executive. Various articles come within this domain. Some important articles I have picked up, like the President of India and the mandate and the constitution, the position is entailed within Article 52. Article 53 gives the executive power of the union, right? Then Article 72 is pardoning power of president. Important questions can come on this. Attorney General of India, the AGI, it is covered under Article 76. Article 112, the budget, the annual budget which comes, important even from economic point of view. Article 112. Article 124 is establishment of Supreme Court, that the four corners of the state, the Delhi, then this side on Kolkata, then Mumbai and Chennai, is not specifically mentioned, but there is a provision within the Constitution of India to have the central Supreme Court sitting in Delhi, and other four corners can be there, springing out of the Supreme Court as a head office in Delhi, right? So that the justice delivery system happens throughout the state, not limiting to geographical limitations, right? Article 126 is appointment of acting Chief Justice, right? And the seat of Supreme Court of India, basically in Delhi, is entailed in Article 130. Article 137 gives a review of the Supreme Court, right? The judicial review of any judgment. We had this happening during the case. A lot of review happened of the same. Judicial review happened of the hearings. So this is all there in 137. Article 142 gives the suo motu cognizance of Supreme Court to deliver justice. So justice not only has to, in spirit, is to be delivered to its citizens, and it's a very important article which entails the principle of judicial activism, and even judiciary has taken various cases like this and proved its judicial activism. Article 148 gives the CAG office. CAG is a constitutional body, right? Constitutional office, very important. Article 148. Then at part 6 we have state, under which some important articles. Governor of the state is entailed in 153. Article 165 gives Advocate General of the state. Then we have Article 169, Parliament by law can abolish second chamber in the state. So the Rajya Sabha, which comes in the center, and similar wing is there in the state, whether to create or not create, is given in Article 169. Article 226, the power of the High Courts to issue writs. If you remember Article 32, the writ jurisdiction is there, and the High Court has a higher jurisdiction than even the Supreme Court when it comes to saving guarding the fundamental rights of citizens. Important. Article 226. Then part 8 we have union territories. Part 9 we have panchayats, the Gram Sabha, the group of the village important personalities. Then Article 243b we have Constitution of Panchayats. Article 243d we have 33% reservation for women in the Panchayati Raj institutions, clearly mentioned. Then we have part 9a municipalities, part 9b cooperatives. Then part 10 we have scheduled and tribal areas, some northeastern states. Then part 11 we have center state relation, entailing various principles of federalism, right? Then we have part 11, the finance and properties related things. So basically some important articles within this is the GST, goods and service tax, was entailed within 279a article. Then the consolidated fund of India is there within 266 article. Then Article 267 gives the contingency fund of India. Article 280 important, the Finance Commission, the constitutional body again, is there within Article 280. Article 300A, the right to property, is inserted within the Part 12. Earlier Article 31 was fundamental right, which was a right to property, but based on first Constitutional Amendment Act and various judgments, it was removed and put under Article 300A here, and it is just it remains as a legal right only. It is not a fundamental right anymore, right to property. Then we have article the part 14th, which covers the various services of the center and states. The UPSC and state PCS come under this. All India services, various all India services. In future, if say the Indian judicial services come, they will all be inserted. A separate article will be formed and they'll be inserted within this part. Then various services. Then part 14A, we have the tribunals to expand the judicial machinery and to ensure public justice delivery system. Part 15, we have the elections. The Election Commission of India comes under this. Article 324, important. Article 326, the principle of adult suffrage, right to vote, is covered as a universal principle under Article 326. Then part 16, we have provisions for the communities like scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. 338, 338A, 338B. So NCSC, NCST and National Commission for Scheduled Caste, Scheduled Tribe and Backward Classes as constitutional body are specially mentioned under articles. Then part 17, we have the official language of India, that is the Hindi in the Devanagari script, and English can be a language in usage. So there is no national language as such, but we have a official language of India to carry out the day-to-day business of the state. Then we have part 18, under which the emergency provisions are given, that is the proclamation of emergency, the national emergency under Article 352. Article 356 gives the state emergency, basically the president's rule. When the constitutional machinery fails in the state, then president rule is employed. Then we have Article 360 giving financial emergency, right? So all these articles are very important, and the part 18 also. Part 20, we have amendment of Constitution of India, very important, Article 368, that the amendment provision of the Constitution are entailed within Article 368 of Part 20. And we have Part 21, special provisions from Article 371A, B, C, D, it goes till J, starting with Nagaland, and 371J giving the Hyderabad, Karnataka areas development. So after going through all the various important parts and articles, let us try to solve some previous year questions to get a hold of what kind of questions UPSC asks, and try to make sense and make our preparation and study accordingly. So the first question, that under Indian Constitution, the concentration of wealth violates. Direct question. So concentration of wealth violates. Yes, it may violate right to equality also. Directive principle of state policy, right to freedom may not be directly hinted. Concept of welfare seems just a general principle. So see, the concentration of wealth in principle is a capitalistic concept, right? And communistic or socialistic concept is distribution of the wealth to the common mass. So mostly it is under DPSP. Right to equality also seems good, but not so broad. So generally it is better to go with the broadest answer. So it seems that, and of course applying the political principles, DPSP. So this is the correct answer. This also seem to be correct answers, but they are not very broad in nature. The next question, what is the position of right to property in India? So legal right available to citizens only, legal right available to any person It is already highlighted. This is the right answer, but by default it has come. So, but we'll try to solve. Legal right available to any person. To any person. Fundamental rights available to citizens only. Neither fundamental right nor legal right. So legal right available to citizens only. That is the Indian citizen, son of soil. No, because we have consulate officers, right, of US in India, and the land, it is said in principle, belongs to US. So in that sense, only going to citizens may not be the right answer. So we'll remove it. Fundamental rights available to citizens only, right? And it is a legal right and fundamental right. See, no more the right to property is fundamental right, right? If you remember, 31 was removed under fundamental right earlier and was put under 300A, right? So it is no more a fundamental right, so it's wrong here. Then neither fundamental right nor legal right. See, legal right in the sense it's a very because even a foreigner can buy land here, so it is a legal right entailed within a constitution, right? So answer B is the correct. Next question, we will go for what was the exact constitutional status in Constitution of India? What was the exact constitutional status of India on 26th January 1950? Yeah, it comes from the preamble. So a democratic republic, yeah, maybe a sovereign democratic republic. Sovereign democratic republic seems good. A sovereign secular doesn't come because we remember 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act inserted secular, we discussed CISP, secular, integrity and social. So this is not correct. Sovereign socialist also not correct. Secular also not correct. So this is not correct. So a democratic republic, yes, it was democratic, but also sovereign. Sovereignty of any state is always entailed. So the answer is B. We'll go with the broadest answer, which is B. Then constitutional government means, so it's a very political philosophy based question. So nowadays UPSC tends to ask application or the principles of polity in a very applied format. So this is one such question. Constitutional government means a representative government of a nation with federal structure. Seems fine, but not just federal. Federalism is subjective to any state. Then government whose head enjoys nominal powers. So the head is curtailed with his powers. Okay, not very broad concept. A government whose head enjoys nominal powers. I think same option has repeated here. A government limited by terms of constitution. Yes, this seems a very broad answer because the purpose of constitution is to limit autocracy, right? There was a thing from autocracy to democracy, if you remember in the first slide we discussed. So democracy means there has to be a constitution, right? A written document, and the purpose of written document is to limit the unwanted powers exercised by the government, keeping the welfare of the citizens in center. Therefore we have democracy means of the people, by the people and for the people, right? So it is all for people only. So the purpose of government is to limit its power by the terms of constitution. So this seems to be the right answer. Next question, consider the following statement in respect of Bharat Ratna and Padma Awards. You remember article 18 we discussed, prohibition of any titles. Bharat Ratna and Padma Awards are titles under Article 18(1) of the Constitution. So it is not explicitly mentioned as such in Article 18. So it is wrong. But if you see which of the above statements are not correct, so sometimes we forget to see this hidden not correct or incorrect thing. Be very careful. Silly mistake take our valuable years and stop us from clearing the prelims. And option B is Padma Awards, which were instituted in the year, okay, were suspended only once. So only means only once. So this raises our eyeball, looks fishy. So let us hold on, we are not very sure. The number of Bharat Ratna awards is restricted to a maximum of 5 in a particular year. So 5 seems fishy. So is restricted to a maximum of 5 in a particular year. We assume that the number here is played around by the paper setter. Padma Awards, which were instituted in the year, were suspended only once. There may be a chance. Lot of things have happened. Emergency has happened. Many various economic emergency has happened. So there may be chance that there are multiple times changes have happened, right? Suspension would have happened. So we will go with a broader understanding. This would have also not be correct. This is also not correct. There may be some 2-3 numbers. So we will go with the final answer. This seems to be the correct answer. Then next question we have, with reference to India, consider the following statements. Judicial custody means an accused is in the custody of concerned magistrate and such accused is locked up in police station. And 2 is, during judicial custody, the police officer in charge of the case is not allowed to interrogate the suspect without approval of the court. He is not allowed. Okay. So this is actually based on Article 20 and 22, if you remember. Article 20 is on conviction and Article 22 is interrogation, right? But there are some 2 important words within this, is called parole and furlough, right? Parole means a person who is in jail is asked, is on a temporary basis suspended and allowed to visit and frequently visit the visit the police in the case as accused. Furlough means someone who has served the sentence of jail and on the principle of humanitarian principles, one is allowed to maintain family ties and allowed to go home. So those kind of things, or in terms of death and other events, one is allowed to go home, right? That is under furlough. So here there is 2 terms, that is judicial custody and police custody, right? 2 things are coming. So the judicial custody means an accused is in the custody of concerned magistrate and such accused is locked up in the police station, not in jail. So seems fishy, because when it is in judicial custody, one is put in jail, and in police custody one is locked up in police station. So there is a crisscross that UPSC has tried to play around. So we generally take it with wrong answer. Then during judicial custody, the police officer in charge of the case is not allowed to interrogate the suspect without the approval of the court, because the interrogations can happen, and it may be correct also, because not allowed to interrogate. So this may be a correct answer also. So in that condition, which of the statements are correct? So none of the statements are correct is the answer. Or I think yes, not this. This is the correct answer. Why? Because during judicial custody, the police officer in charge is not allowed to interrogate. Yes, true. Judiciary has a higher power to limit the the power of police officer on the accused, right? In line with the fundamental rights, like that. So option B, which is 2 only, is the correct answer. Then we have with respect to India, consider the following statements. When a prisoner makes out of sufficient case, parole cannot be denied to such prison because it becomes a matter of his or her right. Okay, it becomes his right, that too on parole. Okay, so when it comes to cases and accusations, the fundamental rights are limited, they are curtailed. So becoming one's right is something fishy and cannot be denied, is something fishy. Therefore we will cut this answer. Then state governments have their own prison rules. Yes, because mostly the prisons and law, they are all related to state subject. So option B is correct. Then we have right to privacy, very direct question. Article 21, right? Under which article? Clean. Then a legislation which confers on the executive and administrative authority an unguided and uncontrolled discretionary power in the matter of application of law violates which one of the following articles? uncontrolled discretionary power, which means one cannot act whimsically and one should be guided by laws and acts. So that is basically the rule of law principle, right? And we have discussed this. The article 14 is the direct answer. So like this very applied question has been asked. So this is it for the parts and the articles, important articles in polity. Next theme we will take up on the important schedules and the important constitutional amendments, continuing on this prelim synthesis. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.